Okay, you're struggling to drive in Forza Horizon 6. No problem, no worries, I've got you covered. Because it's not an easy game to understand from the driving fundamentals, to be honest with you. It's a little bit more complicated than it might first appear. Now, my background is karting in real life, I've raced in real life, and I do a ton of sim racing. So I'm going to give you a pro driver sim racer analysis here, an explanation on how to drive like this. So if you're ever struggling in Forza Horizon 6, come back to this video. I'm going to give you a few techniques for you to remember and try and re-remember them if you end up struggling again, because I'm certain with these techniques you're going to have a lot more fun in Forza Horizon 6. Now, one of the most important things when it comes to driving in Forza Horizon 6 you're going to see in this video is weight, is inertia, is weight transfer. And that doesn't really happen as much in arcade racing games. In arcade racing games, for them to be fun, you often need to be able to change direction really quickly. So it becomes a little bit like an arcade fighting game or an arcade music rhythm game. You see something happen coming towards you on your screen and you make an input on your controller and you avoid it and you feel good. Forza Horizon 6 just doesn't work that way. If you see something coming ahead of you, like traffic, like this car, if you're already in the wrong place, you stand no chance. And I think this is where the issues arise with people saying that Forza Horizon 6 has bad handling, or in fact you can't drive it on the wheel. Now, I wanted to show you in this video me driving on the wheel. I'm even driving in third person, which is actually, I would say, more difficult than driving in cockpit or bonnet view. But I really want to show you it's possible, and I want to show you how the car is being manipulated. So bearing in mind that weight transfer is important, you need to understand that you should always be placing your car deliberately on either side of the road or the middle of the road. Now you can see here, I'm using, you might not have seen it at first, but sim racing fundamentals here, opening up this corner, staying to the outside, hitting apexes, but opening up the corners before I hit them, unless I'm trying to go in a rut or something like that. And there becomes a natural rhythm to your driving where you'll be going to the outside and the inside and the outside and the inside of the road, and it becomes quite hypnotizing and quite mesmerizing. Now you might not be doing this, you might be driving in the middle of the road because you think that's safer. If there's going to be traffic, it's going to be in either lane. But trust me, you want to be going with that natural flow because you need to understand what your philosophy is when you attack these roads. This is like rallying. This is more difficult than rallying, because in rallying, generally, you don't have traffic on the roads, but here you do. So set yourself your driving fundamentals, go to the outside on the entry corners, try and clip apexes where possible, move to the other side of the track to open up the next corner, just keep doing that. Then you have your structure that you can build on. Then what we need to do there is when we see traffic, we already know where we're trying to go, like without traffic. If there's no traffic, we're going to clip this apex and we're going to move to the outside. Now you can adjust for the traffic in a way that your brain understands. Because you have an existing route, you now see that car traffic come onto your route and you can avoid it. Before, you didn't even have really a route. You could see the road on your mini-map. You don't really know how you're attacking the road. Now we know how we're attacking it, we can make those adjustments. And that's why you see me here. This is not an edited clip or something. This is just me driving and not really hitting traffic. You see from time to time we'll grey stuff, but I try and basically drive in Forza Horizon 6 like we're not trying to take damage to the car. We'll grey stuff, we'll bump stuff maybe from time to time. We might have a slight, getting close there, but generally I want to be clipping stuff and brushing but not smashing into things, and that's because of my philosophy here. So we're going to open up the corner, stay in left hand side, hit the apex here. If there's a car on the inside, we'll go around it. If there was a car on the outside, we turn in a bit earlier. I know what I'm doing. The other thing that I do, and if you have a look at my steering wheel, so I've got the camera on the wheel. And by the way, if you want to have a wheel for Forza Horizon 6, I'm using Logitech RS50 here, so I can recommend that. Use my code Kireth at checkout, it gets 10% off. Fantastic wheel really, whether you're beginner, intermediate, advanced or anything. So I'm going to show you around here in a different part of the map. So these roads feel a bit tighter. There are cliff edges, and if you're having a frustrating time in Forza Horizon 6, this road is just going to be super frustrating because you're going to hit traffic and fall off the mountain. So I wanted to speak about my wheel. You can see I've got it zoomed in more on my wheel now. I want to show you that I'm not making massive inputs to my wheel as soon as I see traffic. Now, if you look at my wheel and look at the car, it's almost like I'm not reacting to traffic. You can see here, I don't make any movement to avoid that car. And that goes back to the core principle at the beginning, which is pathfinding. I already know the route I want to take, and it's easy for me to slightly adjust it to avoid all this traffic. But the other thing that helps me do that is the sensitivity of my wheel. So I'm not running this wheel at 1080 degrees rotation, I'm running this wheel at 540 degrees rotation. So I've done that in Logitech settings. By the way, I have settings guides for Fanatec, Logitech, THRUSTMASTer, Moza, you name it. I should have a settings guide on the channel, so make sure to subscribe to my channel, by the way. If you just want to help me out anyway, much appreciated, and check out the settings guides. But running my wheel rotation at a smaller rotation also, in some ways, is a bit deceiving because it's masking the fact that when I'm making inputs, they actually look smaller. And that's because of the magic of force feedback. I can feel the resistance in the wheel. So I could drive in Forza Horizon probably on like 100 degrees rotation, and maybe I'll try it to show you, and you'll just be making ever so slight adjustments to the wheel, but you'll be feeling in the force feedback what that's doing to the car. If I had this on 1080 degrees rotation, you'll have seen maybe my settings guides for Logitech G923. I had to turn it down for 1080 because you physically cannot avoid traffic if your wheel rotation is too high. I'll repeat that. You physically cannot avoid traffic if your wheel rotation is too high. And I think the high rotation is the default. So you're being set up to fail by Forza Horizon 6 really, which is very frustrating. Now if I fail, I know it's my fault. I know I didn't position myself well enough. I know maybe I had poor reactions, but reaction time doesn't even really come into this. Now I do want to say a big thank you to GT Omega, by the way, who have sponsored this Forza video. If you do want a sim racing rig or cockpit, go check out gtmega.co.uk. I've got a 5% discount there with my code Kireth5. They make rigs that you see me use on the channel all the way from like the Prime Light to the Big Boy Prime and all the pedal plates. So go check that out if you're looking for a sim rig. Obviously, fastening down your equipment means you're able to drive more precisely than driving on the carpet. So big thanks to GT Omega. So once you've got your pathfinding in place, once you've got your rotation in place, now we can go back to, I think, the first thing I talked about in this video, which is weight transfer and inertia. There's no point talking about weight transfer inertia if you haven't got those building blocks of positioning your car and being able to manipulate your car. But now you can manipulate your car, and now you can have some real fun, because now there's less variables to think about. You can have more fun in the variables of like, how am I going to drift around this corner? How kind of like out of shape do I want to get? How close do I want to get to traffic when drifting? And you can do all these things that are like super fun in Forza Horizon 6. Now, I'm going to be quiet there because it might give you a clue. The critical thing for sliding and weight transfer in Forza Horizon 6, in my opinion, is the audio. Forza Horizon 6 has fantastic audio, and for me it's much better than Gran Turismo 7 actually hearing what the tyres are doing. And you can really hear when you're in that nice angle. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, I also said I do real world karting. I've won championships in real world karting. And a lot of real world karting is listening to your tyres. Remember, in the kart, you're not in a cockpit, not enclosed. Your tyres are right there and you can hear them. And often in a kart, you don't have live timing, you don't have a delta, you don't even have a speedometer. And the best way to tell how fast you're going is listening to the tyres. And you can see in this bit here, like the tyres are kind of screaming. I haven't put drift tyres on. This is the standard McLaren Artura. I haven't even tuned it. Like, none of this driving is me with a mad tune. This is absolutely stock, just using my wheel settings basically and the principles. Now that's satisfying. That's probably the most satisfying bit of the whole video. If you found that satisfying, hit the subscribe button right now, leave me a comment. And I really hope so many of you at home are going to be able to drive like this. This isn't me trying to show off. This is me just showing you that you can drive like this on the wheel. Like, it's probably the wheel's fault in a way. It's probably the way the wheel's been set up. It's probably the way Forza's been set up. The defaults are not very good, in my opinion. So hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you've been trying out my wheel guides as well and how you've been finding them. Hopefully it's just set you up for years of fun on Forza, which makes me a very happy person. And I'll see you in the next video.